All right. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to this weekly forecast, the first forecast of the month of August 2026. I was gone for a whole week last week. I was on vacation. Now I'm back. So let's dive into it. Let's start by the economy calendar, as we usually do. Um, so right here, we can see that for the upcoming week, we don't have that much news coming out. On Monday, we have PMI. That should be interesting tomorrow. Then after that, on Tuesday, we only have New Zealand dollar news. Wednesday, again, services PMI, which is not really interesting. Thursday, unemployment claims, not great. But on Friday, we have NFP. So that's the highlight of the week. It's the first week of the month, obviously. And and we have NFP. So that should be interesting. So honestly, if I was gonna trade this week, I would focus on the beginning of the week and the end of the week. The middle around Wednesday should be lower volatility and should be a little bit more choppy. So let's be careful with that. But other than that, Monday and Friday should be good. All right, now let's look at the charts. I wasn't there last week, so I didn't really follow what happened. So this forecast might be a little bit longer, uh, just so I can catch up on what happened. Okay, so here on the dollar, um, technically last week we should have seen higher prices, but price reached this target right here. It swept and started going lower, which is not what was expected. I wanted to see price reach this high, but it never did. So that's a little bit concerning. I don't understand why we're having this huge retracement. Um, yeah, that's well, I missed some big moves last week. I don't know, lads. It's a little bit hard to explain why we started going lower from there. It was really not expected. Let's see, what about this Fibonacci here? From this low to this high. I don't know, it looks like dollar wants to start going lower. Yeah. Well, right now, let's be let's be objective. We should be having lower prices this week on the dollar. Um, Unless we're proven otherwise, we're proven the contrary, but right now we should be seeing lower prices on the dollar next week. Now we have this daily fair value gap right there, and honestly, I don't expect a retracement back into it. It would be very surprising if we get a retracement like this to then continue lower. I think we can start going lower already, potentially from this 4 hour fair value gap right there. Let me mark it out. This fair value gap could be the reason for price to start going lower. So overall, lower prices on the dollar, but I would want to wait for some more confirmation because the whole move that we got last week is is quite honestly unexpected. And so I would want to be careful here. And after that, if you look, oh, I forgot about this. Yeah, the month of July just ended. So we created a monthly bullish fair value gap. It's not the best fair value gap, but it's there. Um, Maybe we could get higher prices from that monthly fair value gap. Honestly, guys, I would want to wait to see how price reacts to this monthly fair value gap because we could see some higher prices from the monthly fair value gap. And if you look at the Fibonacci, the monthly fair value gap corresponds with the golden area, so we can definitely continue higher from there. Um, let's wait and see. Honestly, I wouldn't trade the dollar tomorrow. I would want to wait to get some just for price to clear up, basically. All right, now if we look at the majors, we have AU that's very similar, just opposite, where we have this monthly bearish fair value gap, so that should be interesting as well. The leg going higher here is very weak. On the weekly, I think it's also pretty weak. Yeah, it's pretty weak on the daily as well. So yeah, that's interesting. I'll put it on the interest list. But again, it's all about waiting for the dollar to clear out. After that, we have GU. GU has been consolidating all throughout well, the entire month of July, basically, as you can see right there. Um, hasn't really gone anywhere, so this is just not interesting right now. Then after that, we have EU. So yeah, EU doesn't make a lot of sense right now. We had this, I think it's a quarterly fair value gap that we can push higher from, but it's not in agreement with the dollar. So let me remove this here. Um, but on EU, we did create that bearish monthly fair value gap that we could potentially continue lower from. I would prefer to see lower prices here on EU. So again, that could be interesting, but let's wait for the dollar to clear up. After that, we have NU. NU should be going lower, but we didn't create that monthly fair value gap. Yeah, that's not interesting right now. USD Canadian. This one I like a lot. Just in 2 seconds, I was able to see it. Let me remove some stuff here. There's a lot of trash on this chart. Okay, so USD Canadian should be going higher if the dollar wants to move higher. Right there, we have created that a good. Honestly, this monthly fair value gap looks good. So, and also, sorry, I forgot to mention, but we do have a fair value area overlapping with the monthly fair value gap. That's pretty interesting to me. Yeah, and the leg going lower here is pretty weak. Yeah, USD Canadian looks really good. It looks a lot like the dollar actually. USD CHF also not too bad. Let's remove some stuff here. So we have created this monthly fair value gap overlapping with fair value area. This also looks interesting. Now these targets have been reached and we have this new target up here. So yeah, overall, this is also interesting. And then finally, USD JPY. This one hasn't been good for a long time now. We never created that monthly fair value gap. It just doesn't look like it wants to continue higher, to be honest. So no, that's not interesting. But overall, I think USD Canadian and USD CHF are my favorite pairs for the upcoming month and maybe even the upcoming week. But again, just keep in mind, it's all about seeing and, well, waiting to see if this monthly fair value gap on the dollar holds. Okay, that's our confirmation. If that monthly fair value gap doesn't hold, then everything is well, invalidated basically. Okay, so that's it for the majors. Now let's take a look at gold. So gold actually created a monthly bearish fair value gap, which is good because we do want to see lower prices here on gold. Remember, what we want to see and what we don't want to see. On the metals, we actually want to see lower prices. So that monthly fair value gap is a pretty nice looking fair value gap. And last week, well, I'm glad I missed last week because it was a massive consolidation. Um, and yeah, right now, I think a retracement back inside this monthly fair value gap to then reach this final piece of target. From there, from this low, I think we can start seeing higher prices. But until then, we're still in a bear market. Okay? So for tomorrow, honestly, it's not too clear for tomorrow. I would want to wait uh, maybe for Tuesday. Wait for tomorrow's candle to form see what price wants to do. Does it want to continue lower or trade back inside this monthly fair value gap? From there, we'll have enough confirmation to see what price wants to do. But I'll take a step back tomorrow here on gold. But the highest probability scenario here is that we get the retracement back inside the monthly fair value gap. That that's the thing that should happen next. Okay? So higher prices probably. That's what I'm forecasting for the week. Higher prices on gold until we reach this monthly fair value gap. Now, let's take a look at silver. Silver is actually very similar. Yeah, I do like what I'm seeing here. We have this beautiful, perfect monthly fair value gap that we can have a retracement back into to then continue lower and reach all these lows down here in this fair value area. So same scenario here on silver. I think we should see some higher prices this week, targeting that monthly fair value gap. That would make a lot of sense. After that, crude oil, I actually saw crude oil yesterday quickly. I was really happy of what I saw. Um, First of all, first thing first, with the month of June, oil prices dropped considerably during the month of June, and we had the opportunity to create a bearish monthly fair value gap. But of course, we didn't. That's what I predicted, and it happened. We had a huge move higher in the past 2, 3 weeks on crude oil, so that's great. We have respected this quarterly fair value gap right there, and we can definitely go higher. I think my bias is still the same here for the month of August and September. We want to see higher prices on crude oil. So we failed to create that monthly fair value gap. Then after that, we actually had this weekly fair value gap that, look at this. That's unfortunate. I wasn't there last week, but look at this. The sting, just the perfect sting back inside the weekly fair value gap to explode higher. This, I think the bias here is you just can't discuss this. The bias is clearly bullish on crude oil for next week. So yeah, overall, just higher prices. We are respecting as well this daily fair value gap. So yeah, that's great. That's great. I love what I'm seeing here on crude oil. Higher prices. Then after that, Bitcoin. What happened on Bitcoin actually? Um, Okay, yeah, Bitcoin looks a lot again. It looks a lot like the metals. It's been the theme recently. Oops, sorry. I just want to remove some stuff here. Yeah, it's been the theme here on Bitcoin. It follows the price action is almost similar to the metals, and so right here, we created this bearish monthly fair value gap, which I think we can have a retracement back into to continue lower until we reach this low. So 50K, 49K, that's my buying price for Bitcoin. Um, yeah, so same game plan here, same thing as gold and silver. We're just waiting for a retracement back inside that monthly fair value gap to continue lower. It's as simple as that, lads. Then after that, let's take a look at the indices. What happened? Okay, so right here on the S&P, honestly, nothing happened during the month of July. Mostly consolidation. We still have this fair value area to reach, so I'm still bearish here. I still think the crash is coming. But unfortunately, the S&P has been pretty strong last week, which is not really what I expected. We failed to create that bearish fair value gap. Yeah, that's not very great. That's not what I wanted to see this week. We swept this low to continue higher. That's not great. But let's take a look at the Fibonacci. Yeah, uh, I see a lot of bullish signs here on the S&P. It's It's honestly not too clear, but I'm keeping my, medium to long-term bias, which is bearish. I still think a crash is coming. Um, Obviously the S&P doesn't show that right now, but I still think that somehow we're going to continue lower. Let's take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq has been more revealing than the S&P. So Nasdaq has been very bearish in July. We still have this fair value area to reach down here. Yes, we have a wick at the bottom, but look at the body of this candle. It's pretty strong. Then on the weekly, yeah, that weekly candle does look very bullish, not gonna lie. And then on the daily, yeah, it's not too clear. We had a huge drop last week actually. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday massively dropped, and then we recovered on Thursday and Friday. But overall, Nasdaq does look bearish to me. Let's take a look at the range. Yeah, we are respecting the golden level. Okay, so on the indices here, I would wait for tomorrow. Let's wait for one candle to form, and then we can come back tomorrow in the daily forecast and see if price has chosen a direction. But for now, being objective, they do look pretty bullish right now. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And let's take a look at the crosses to end this forecast. I'm just gonna remove all of this. All right, so let's start by the JP. What? Whoa! What happened here? What? That's actually a crazy move. Okay, so the month of July closed lower. Oh, okay, that's why. It's because we actually have a quarterly fair value gap right here. Okay, well, that does look good. Eventually, once we get the retracement back in here, we could continue higher from it. Yeah, I do like what I'm seeing here, but honestly, it's not interesting immediately. It would only be interesting as soon as we reach inside this quarterly fair value gap. Okay, not before. CHF JPY probably no, it's not the same. It's hard to tell which fair value gap can push price higher here. No, this one I don't like it. GBP Yeah, same thing here. Just waiting for retracement back inside this quarterly fair value gap. Same game plan. Euro JPY as well. Probably not the fair value gap in this case, but the fair value area that looks like the area that is gonna push price higher. Australian dollar JPY, same thing as well. The fair value area and New Zealand dollar JPY. This one is not interesting. So we have a few JPY pairs that are interesting, just not right now. I don't think they're going to be interesting this week because, these are quarterly fair value gaps. It's going to take more time. But yeah, I think once we get the retracement back inside those quarterly fair value gaps, quarterly fair value areas, we could definitely see some higher prices from there. So let's keep an eye on those. After that, we have Australian dollar CHF. Yeah, that's not interesting. Canadian dollar CHF, massive consolidation. Nope. Euro CHF, same thing. Nope. GBP CHF. It's not too clear. I would want to see a retracement back inside this weekly fair value gap. That's what we were expecting a few weeks back. If we can get the retracement back in here, could be interesting. But for now, let's just wait and see what price wants to do. New Zealand dollar CHF going higher. I just can't tell which is the next target. Well, I think the next target would logically, it would be this bearish quarterly fair value gap, but that's pretty far. I don't think we're going to reach that this week, so not interesting for now. Canadian dollar pairs, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar still has this target to reach up there. Mm, but right now it's been consolidating a lot, so no, not great. Euro Canadian, again, higher prices, but we have a bearish weekly fair value gap right there. First candle did not reject, so that's a good sign. But again, I would want to wait for some more confirmation. Maybe a daily fair value gap going higher would be great. Or even a weekly fair value gap. Maybe wait an entire week, and then next week we can have a sting back into it. So not interesting right now. GBP Canadian dollar. Oh yeah, I remember this one. That was on the interest list like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I do like what I'm seeing here because we were expecting higher prices from this weekly fair value gap. It took a lot of time. First candle did not reject, second candle did not reject, but right now the third candle is very strong. It does look like we were rejecting. Now, my only worry on this pair is that we actually created a monthly fair value gap, which it wouldn't be too crazy to retrace back into it, right? Because it's there. So, yeah, honestly, I don't think we're going to retrace back into that monthly fair value gap. It doesn't look like it. Seems like we want to continue higher already. Let's see on the 4 hour. Yeah, I think we can start going higher already here. Let's wait for tomorrow's candle and then we'll reassess everything tomorrow night, see if things change. But I think that could go on the interest list for this week for sure. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Yeah, no, that's a consolidation. Don't like it. Okay. Um, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Yeah, this one, it's been going lower. Maybe we can catch a short. Maybe we can catch a short trade targeting this monthly fair value gap down here. I think that's the next target because this monthly fair value gap has failed. This is over now. Now the next target is this one down here. So until we reach that, we could potentially catch a short. Maybe a retracement back inside this daily fair value gap. I'll put it on the interest list. We'll keep an eye on it. It's not interesting for tomorrow, but maybe sometime this week it could be interesting. Euro, New Zealand dollar. Yeah, that's a similar scenario here. I think this right there, let me mark it out so you can see it clearly. This monthly fair value gap right there could push price higher, but until then, we should be seeing lower prices towards that monthly fair value gap, potentially from this daily fair value gap as well. So let's keep an eye on this. Could be interesting. GBP New Zealand dollar also. Well, actually, no. This one is not interesting. Why? Because we don't have a clear target. In this entire move higher here, we don't have that monthly fair value gap that we have on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and Euro New Zealand dollar. So this one not as interesting as the two others. Then we have Euro Australian dollar. Yeah, this one is not too clear. We should see some higher prices technically, but it's just been weird price action here. I don't like it. I don't like it. And these pairs are never interesting. I swear to God, these are just like so bad all the time. Well, actually, you know what? GBP Australian dollar does look promising, where we have this bearish monthly fair value gap, which is the next target. Okay, that's the next target. And how can we get there from this bullish monthly fair value gap? So something that looks a little bit like this. So we get some lower prices, sting back inside the monthly bullish fair value gap, then higher prices until we reach the bearish monthly fair value gap. And from there, we can have some lower prices. So right now, for this week, we should see some lower prices here. But again, that's not what price is telling us. I think I'm over analyzing this. Let's put it on the interest list, but I'm really forcing an idea here, to be honest. I think something like GBP Canadian does look much better. Yeah, GBP Canadian would be my favorite crosses. All right, well, that's it for the crosses. We have four on the interest list for this week. We have a couple JPY pairs as well that could be interesting. Once I get this alert that I put here on Canadian dollar JPY, then we'll take a look at them. Okay? So, little recap here on the dollar. Let's put it on the weekly. So on the dollar, technically we should see some higher prices from this monthly fair value. Higher prices. I'm still keeping my bias. If we do see some higher prices, then take a look at USD Canadian and USD CHF. They both look really good to continue higher. After that, we have the metals. Metals for this week only, we should see some higher prices until we reach inside this this monthly fair value gap, sorry. Once we reach inside this, then we should see some lower prices on both silver and gold. But right now, the bias is bullish as well on crude oil. That's pretty clear to me. There's no doubt about that. Bitcoin, same game plan as the metals, higher prices for this week until we reach this monthly fair value gap. And finally, the indices, not too clear. Honestly, it's not very clear. Being objective, we should see some higher prices to start the week, but I'm still keeping my bearish bias on the indices. I think the month of August is probably going to be the month where everything happens. If not, then it's going to be in September, but it's coming, okay? That's something I know for sure. It is coming. All right, lads. Well, this is it for the forecast. It feels good to be back. Um, yeah, let's trade this week. Let's find some good opportunities. I think we have a lot of charts that are looking good. We're starting a new month, so yeah, let's head into this new month with a clear head. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. I will be back tomorrow for the daily forecast. Ciao.